I remember the exact second the room went quiet. Victor Harlan stood at the head of the mahogany table, his Rolex flashing under the LED lights like it was part of some private joke only the executives understood.
Team.
I'm proud to announce we're handing leadership of Project Sentinel, our $950 million flagship defense AI framework, to fresh eyes and bold vision, he said, voice smooth as aged scotch. My son-in-law, Jordan, will take the reins from here. 21 years. That's how long I'd poured everything into this. Late nights at NORAD rewriting legacy code during government shutdown scares. Endless whiteboarding sessions in Arlington hotel rooms. Building the predictive neural mapping layer that let autonomous systems read intent in tactical chaos. And just like that, it was gone. No real applause followed. Just awkward finger taps on the tabletop from people too scared to seem disloyal. Most eyes stayed glued to their notepads or laptops. No one met my gaze. Jordan stood up, adjusting his Patagonia vest over a button-down with the security tag still dangling from the sleeve. He flashed that wide startup bro grin. Teeth too white. Confidence dialed to 11. I'm thrilled to inject agile methodologies and modern disruption into this legacy system, he declared. The man had once asked if the Pentagon had 5 servers because of the name. He kept going. Synergy is key in next-gen warfare, blockchain integration, gamified simulations, AI that feels alive. We need speed. We need swagger.
Swagger.
In a classified defense briefing, I sat frozen, blood draining from my fingertips. But I didn't move. Not when he butchered heuristics. Not when he casually suggested outsourcing encryption layers to freelancers. Victor patted my shoulder like I was an old dog being put down gently. Let's give a big hand to Alex for laying the foundation. Retirement's going to suit you perfectly. Buddy. Retirement. The word landed like a quiet slap. As if we had discussed it over cigars. As if I hadn't skipped birthdays and anniversaries building the very skeleton they were now claiming. I smiled small. Precise. Controlled. Rage that raw can't spill freely. It gets labeled unstable. Unprofessional.
No.
Real revenge simmers. Molds itself into something sharp and patient. Jordan fired up his PowerPoint. Slide 1. The future of defense, a millennial lens. The Pentagon seal was rendered in Comic Sans. I wish I were kidding. He blathered on about respecting my work, but needing to rip and replace the glue code for freshness. The room smelled of toner, overpriced coffee, and quiet betrayal. When the meeting ended, people scattered like shadows. No handshakes for me. Just the whisper of laptop lids closing and wheels rolling across carpet. I walked out last, badge still warm around my neck from nervous sweat. At the elevator, my reflection stared back from the brushed metal doors, tired lines around the eyes. A face that had traded too many hours blinking at code for family dinners. But beneath the exhaustion, something clicked. They didn't know about the filing. They didn't know the core patent for the adaptive threat anticipation algorithm, patent US 9124-447B, was still registered under my pre-marriage legal name, Alex Renner. A clerical oversight from 7 years ago, filed in haste after a 40-hour sprint to resolve autonomous targeting conflicts. Never transferred. Never updated. Because back then, with a messy divorce looming and lawyers circling, I kept my name separate on purpose. The company assumed internal databases and asset buyouts covered it. They never double-checked. The next morning, my keycard still worked.
Beep. Click.
The office hummed with the same mechanical indifference. Whispers followed me. Michelle from compliance muttering, "He's actually showing up?" Greg from engineering replying, "Probably just clearing his desk." Jordan already owns the Slack channels. I moved methodically, like defusing a bomb. Old hard drives. Prototype sketches. A faded photo of my daughter clutching a science fair ribbon, like it was Olympic gold. I slipped it into a leather folder, without a sound. Jordan strolled in late.
Venti finend.
AirPods blasting. Alex. Man, no hard feelings. This industry is about evolution, right? He finger-gunned me. I smiled tightly. Just don't evolve us into a compliance nightmare. He laughed it off. We're modernizing everything. Rip and replace. Baby. I locked the folder. Inside. The original patent registration. Printed hard copy because digital trust was dead. Remember, when you rip out the spine, the body collapses, I said quietly. He didn't get it. I left the monitor on mid-compile. The IDE frozen like a snapshot of abandonment. No plaques. No mug saying, "World's okay, engineer." At the elevator, I glanced back once. Jordan explaining firmware to a confused intern. Greg scrolling TikTok. Michelle touching up her lipstick. No fanfare. Just a real smile this time. Because they still had no idea. The executive floor smelled of leather, regret, and overpriced scotch. I hadn't planned to linger. My hands were full. My chest felt hollow, but glass clinking and fake laughter pulled me to the corner. Victor's voice sliced through. Gentlemen, the transition was seamless. Jordan brings energy and vision. The Pentagon wants rock stars, not relics. Relics. That was me. I leaned just enough to see Jordan demoing on his iPad to General Ramirez. A no-nonsense Pentagon liaison. We're rebranding the architecture, sleek, sexy. Iron Man meets DARPA. He actually said sexy to a 4-star general. Victor chimed in. Alex built solid bones. But bones don't sell. People want skin. Jordan's got skin and family ties. I backed away before they spotted me. The math was already running in my head. They'd pushed the revised contract through without verifying the patent chain. Victor trusted the company's sloppy metadata and half-merged legal files. But the core algorithm's original registration sat under Renner, my name from before the marriage. Before the name changed to Thornton. It should have been cleaned up years ago during the buyout. It wasn't. No one second-guessed a winning bid smelling like money. That voicemail came at 9:42 a.m. Tuesday while I ate cold pad thai in sweatpants, watching squirrels scrap on the porch.
Mr.
Thornton. Alan Price from DoD Procurement. Questions about the Sentinel architecture you developed. Call when convenient. Calm voice. No hint of the storm. Friends in D.C. started texting cryptically. Your guy just told Ramirez the targeting model autocorrects like autocorrect on an iPhone. Someone's digging the patent file. Clause 4.3 says holdings unknown. Different name? Legal was confused. I laughed alone in the kitchen. Blinds half drawn. By Friday, Jordan's shine dulled to flop sweat. A systems contact whispered after hours. He couldn't explain recursive packet tunnels. Said the cloud will handle it. To Ramirez's face. Then the urgent email. Patent chain of ownership verification needed. All caps. They sent the internal index. But USPTO records showed mismatch. Not under the company. Not Thornton. Under Renner. Alan Price called again.
Mr.
Thornton, were you ever known as Alex Renner? Yes. Silence stretched. The original framework was filed under that name?
It was.
Willing to speak with compliance on IP chain? Happy to. They discovered what most overlook. The Pentagon cares about ownership of the billion-dollar spine they bought. When it's a maybe, funding freezes, audits start. I hung up and laughed fully, the kind that releases years of slights. Fake smiles. Victor's condescension. The first real panic leaked via mistaken reply all from a procurement intern. Urgent. Patent discrepancy on Sentinel protocol. Who is Alex Renner? It hit 32 recipients. including DARPA observers. 37 minutes later. Red flags everywhere. Legal looped in fully printing PDFs like it was the 90s. I pictured Victor in bed when General Counsel called about fatal procedural oversights. A leaked internal Zoom captured Jordan's meltdown. I thought it transferred. Database says internal attribution pending. Legal director aged visibly. It predates the buyout. Who the hell is Renner? Alan called less politely. We need clarity fast. IP assignment incomplete. Funding can't process. Is the patent still yours? I pulled the notarized original from the filing cabinet, signature dated. Virginia address, a cramped apartment full of Ethernet cables. It's legal. Still mine. Tone shifted on the line. He knew the brass was watching. Company calls escalated. Friendly at first, clerical thing. Then pressured. Backdated release needed. Then threatening. Adversarial repercussions by Thursday. I saved the voicemails. By Thursday. Pentagon courier delivered recognition. I was verified sole holder of US 9124-447B. Blank signature line. I didn't sign yet. Instead, whiskey on the porch. Watching Victor's empire tremble. The freeze hit at 2:13 p.m. Thursday, Project Sentinel suspended pending IP verification. No deployment. Slack panic forwarded anonymously. Exec crisis. DEFCON problem. We don't own the patent. Victor demanded. Get Alex Thornton on the phone. Victor emailed. We need to talk. I replied. Talk to my attorney. He remembers 2018. Calls flooded in, 6 missed. Voicemails ignored. Stock futures dipped. Investors demanded answers. DARPA wanted timelines. Jordan's investor live stream cracked. Forehead glistening. Voice breaking on administrative oversight. In touch with the original developer. A type question. You fired the original developer? His freeze was poetry. I watched from a corner cafe. Coffee like burnt decisions. Live stream muted. His eyes mirrored the panic I'd felt in that boardroom. Courier brought the DoD letter. Recognized as sole holder. My involvement required. Contract suspended. Signature from an old NORAD contact who once said, name on the blueprint matters more than medals. Victor tried through assistant. Then personally, block number. Voice thinner. Let's not make this harder. Harder than replacing me with family in my own room. Poorly handled. Mistake. Mistake for typos. Not betrayal. He offered money. Advisory role. Bonus. Isn't it always about money? I let silence hang. You gave it away when you handed a live project to hype over expertise.
Click.
Pentagon update. Review ongoing. Timeline recalibrated. Budget paused. Leadership evaluated. Stock plunged 11%. Then 14%. Analyst reports highlighted instability. Leaked board memo questioned sign-offs. CEO removed. No parachute. Just a sad exit photo online. Tie crooked. Jordan vanished. LinkedIn dark. Bio reflecting. Company rebranded desperately. Victor's handwritten note. You win. Anything you want. I burned it while the neighbor's dog barked. The 18-page contract arrived via suited courier. Direct partnership. Sole authority. No middlemen. I signed silently, one pen stroke. Project returned to its creator. While Victor begged investors, the course veered off the cliff. 1 month later, diner booth. Black coffee and bacon. Wall Street Ledger headline. Sentinel resurrected under original creator. Pentagon severs ties. Archival photo of me mid-thought. Waitress glanced over. That you? I nodded. About damn time. I folded the paper slowly. They called me obsolete. Erase the quiet one. But power hides in forgotten lines. Signatures skimmed. Names they discarded. The system remembered. Funny how a single overlooked surname proved sharper than any boardroom knife. What happens when legacy fights back, not with shouts, but with paper that outlasts ego? The question lingers like steam from the cup, unanswered in the morning light.